Hello, and welcome to the next episode of ClefNotes. I'm Galen Wixon, your host of ClefNotes, and we want to thank Classical 105.7 for hosting this program. What a great way to start the fall. We have a guest with us, a dear friend of the orchestra of the Lubbock Symphony. We have Kim Hudson, our principal flutist. Kim, welcome.
Thank you, Galen.
It's so nice to have you here. You've been with the orchestra how many years, do you suppose?
Over 20.
Yeah, I knew it'd been a while. I've been here 9 now, so you've been here much longer than I have.
I think 21, but maybe 22. I need to look into that.
That's really fun. And so, did you start out as principal flutist?
No. I came in as section flute playing with Lisa Garner-Santa when she was principal.
And now she was your teacher?
She was my teacher,
wow.
yes.
Now, so how did you two come to meet, you and Lisa?
When Gary and I got married and relocated to Lubbock, he was starting his doctorate at Texas Tech to study with Will Strider. And during that time, I was working and then started taking lessons privately with Lisa. And she and I had conversations about my coming to Tech and starting a master's degree and offering me a TA-ship. And I could not turn it down, and I couldn't have loved studying with her more. So that is how I came to be a student at Tech and a student at Lisa Garner's, and then, of course, leading to the symphony.
Right, and it just rolled. Now, you said Gary, so we were talking about Gary Hudson,
yes,
our principal trumpet. He'll be a future victim of my show here. But Gary's a wonderful player, and now you two go back a few more years to Houston. Is that right?
We do.
Okay, and how did you meet in Houston?
We were both working on our undergraduate degrees at the University of Houston. And so we met in Eddie Green's wind ensemble and, of course, played in the orchestra at the school together as well. So we found each other through the music school.
Yeah, there's a great school of music there at Houston.
Yeah.
Moore's School?
The Moore School, yes.
Wonderful environment. Did you always want to be a flutist?
I did.
Yeah. When did you start playing?
I started playing sixth grade.
Sixth grade? Were you a pianist or anything else before that, or had you experimented in music?
I was a terrible piano student.
Yeah.
My mother wanted me to take piano. We had one in our home because my sister had played. So she had me in lessons for second and third grade, which promptly was you need to stop doing this, you're not practicing, and I couldn't have agreed more. I hated it. And then by the time I got to sixth grade, my sister had also played flute. Yeah. So conveniently, it was suggested that perhaps I could start with the flute, since there were two in the house.
Yeah.
And
money always talks.
Yes, it did. It was very economically sound for me to start with flute, and at first I rebelled. I had no desire to play flute. I thought I was destined to be a singer. And I have no idea where that came from. And so my mother convinced me, just try it for a year. Just try it for sixth grade, and then if you hate it, you can try something else. And I fell in love, and that was it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, did somebody, okay, so you already heard your sister playing the flute.
Yes.
But nobody demonstrated the flute to you. You said this wasn't some epiphany. It was just your sister plays the flute, you played the flute too?
Right.
Wow. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Well, that's an interesting story. And so from sixth grade, did you play in a youth orchestra around Houston? Or?
I actually was fortunate enough in high school, we had a full symphony program.
Wow.
So if you were in the top band ensemble, you were eligible to audition for a seat in the orchestra.
Neat.
So I was able to get a spot my freshman year and played for all 4 years in band and in the symphony orchestra, and that's where I fell in love with orchestral music.
And so then you auditioned for University of Houston, got in?
I did.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I mean, to come right out of a public school program without, most of us get slotted into this youth orchestra track, and then we have to sort of get tracked into and get contacts in the university and get accepted. So that's really impressive. That's really neat. So from U of H, you came to Lubbock with Gary.
Yes.
And from there, you've been here your whole career.
I have, yes.
So what are a few highlights professionally?
Oh, goodness.
Being in the symphony, being a soloist, what has really been a highlight of your career that you really point to sometimes?
A highlight for me in Lubbock, not only being a symphonic flutist, is teaching my private studio. I've done this for so many years, middle school, high school, college students, and even a couple of adult students over the years, and that has been so much fun and so rewarding, and I've always loved it, and I loved that early on. So I started, my first private lesson to teach was when I was in a junior in high school, and my band directors and orchestra directors thought I would do well teaching a few young students, and I never looked back.
How about that?
I've always loved it.
What a great gift to be able to do that.
I've been very blessed.
Do you have any students that have really gone on to big things?
I have so many students that have gone on to do different degrees, different passions, not so much performance or flute performance, but playing in the ensembles, whether it's for scholarship or a particular student who graduated and said, I probably won't do flute, but I loved every minute of it.
That's fantastic.
So
yeah, we're not always looking to create professional
Right.
musicians, but we want to create good people that are thoughtful.
right.
And I'm sure you've created more teachers in
I
your,
think
in
so.
your studio.
Yes, I think so. And
Fantastic.
having that passion, of course, for these students, it carries through with them their whole lives.
Right.
Whether they do music in any professional capacity, it's nice to follow what they're doing now as they're out of college and moving on.
So when you play professionally, do you have a preference to play solo, to chamber, to symphonic? Do you have a real thing that you always lean into the most, or is there something that you prefer to do?
I definitely, Galen, feel that I am best suited for orchestral music and chamber music. I love any opportunity to play. Of course, pit orchestra work is always very challenging and fun
It
as
is,
well.
yeah.
But I've never thought of myself as a recitalist or soloist. I like the group dynamic. I feel like I'm best suited in the orchestra. I feel really at home there.
Right.
So any chamber music, orchestral music, that's always my go-to, my favorite.
And it becomes family. You sort of look forward to those rehearsals and
I do.
concert times
I
and
do.
working together. Just sort of creating something as a group is always.
Yes.
And as we get older, we can do this for so long in our lives, and it's so rewarding
Yes,
to be able
it
to do
is.
that as a career. What else do you do in Lubbock besides? And I hate to ask that question like your work is you. I know our work doesn't
Right.
always define us. What else do you love
Right.
to do?
Right. Well, so much of my time is spent with teaching and playing, but my favorite thing, my passion is travel. So that's a hobby that I've my whole life enjoyed, and
Yeah.
I've traveled lots of amazing places, and that's what I love to do. So when
It's-
I have time, that's where I'm trying to head out the door and use that passport.
And so we're all going to ask, what's your favorite place
Oh my
that
goodness.
you've been to?
Recently, Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Oahu was stunning. Bermuda, also stunning. Just gorgeous, gorgeous. Probably one of the more fascinating places, which was actually a Texas Tech flute studio trip, was to New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
And we went and performed for Alexa Still, and her students played for Dr. Garner. So we had this little trade-off of flutists playing for the two different teachers, and that was so amazing to see the northern island of New Zealand. It
Yeah.
was incredible.
Well, and you could say, was that like Wellington, or
Yes.
was it up in, it was.
It was.
Yeah, and that's where the big university, I think the biggest music program is
Right.
in Wellington. But it's fascinating that a country that seems so isolated has such an advanced music program.
Yes.
You're seemingly in the middle of nowhere. And
Right,
How did
right.
this happen?
Right.
So yeah, it's quite amazing. Well, so what else beyond your symphony career do you do in town? Is there another work sort of line that you do, or passion that you're following, or plans for the future?
Really, I spend most of my time with my private studio. I do also teach in some of the public schools. The band directors will have me come out and pull their flutes and basically work with them as a section, whether they're competition or contest goals, of course in the fall and in the spring. So a lot of my daytime work is going into these schools and teaching middle school and high school flutes. And then in the evenings, of course, is when I teach the majority of my private students.
So when you're teaching flute, I mean, all instruments have their own sort of challenges and, features
Right.
and quirks.
Oh, yes. Oh,
So
yes.
what's the hardest thing for students to learn about the flute?
It's the embouchure.
The mouth and how you blow the air across that.
It's-
I can never, ever. I can't even make the pop bottle work. So there's
That's
just
the
no,
hardest part.
Yeah.
It is. It's the biggest challenge. It's not so much the fingers or the technique. Occasionally the posture is a little awkward, but mostly it's learning to direct the air and make a beautiful sound, and getting that done takes the majority of the time.
Yeah. And so you go back to the creator of the flute. Did you ever curse that person
Yes.
and say, could this be any less?
It is a challenge for sure, but yeah, I think for my kids that will tell me occasionally, especially in the fall when they're marching. So the flute is completely susceptible to wind,
Wind.
external wind.
We
So
never thought of that.
if you're facing a direction and the wind comes and steals your air, you suddenly go silent. And it's just a joke. We just laugh at the ridiculous nature of flute on a marching field, because you are not in control of what's going to happen.
My sister played flute, and she would play in sub-freezing temperatures, and sometimes the poor
Yes.
thing would have it frozen to her lip.
Yes.
I just think, you that's metal outside. That can't
It
be
is.
right.
All kinds of challenges. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have a favorite composer that you ever lean to when you're just relaxing and
Oh, my
listening
goodness.
or playing?
Yes, I would probably, my go-to every now and then when I want to relax but also challenge myself, I'll start playing Bach sonatas.
Bach sonatas.
Yes.
Wow.
And
Now
it-
that's an interesting.
Occasionally, from my formal training at the University of Houston, my former teacher would have us transpose music. And as a flutist, that is not natural to what we do. And it was always a puzzle and a challenge. And some days I thought my head was going to explode. But every now and then, I'll transpose a little bit.
So here's just a little bit of education for our listeners. A transposition is when we have to basically play in a place on the staff differently from what we actually see with our eyes. So we're adjusting the notes so that we're playing in the range of the instrument. It's very, very tricky for
Yes.
people in my world and yours too, because we play in the key of C.
That's correct.
Which means that it's very simple for us. What you see is what you get.
That's right.
But for those people who play in B flats and E flats, Fs, they have to go up and down with their brain, their eyes, and their mouths
Yes.
and hands very quickly.
Yes.
And be able to, in microseconds, be able to say and adjust with confidence.
Yes.
And not make mistakes.
Yes.
It's really one of the most amazing things to me that you can do this. It's like jazz musicians and their ability to
Oh,
just
right.
play, improvise within key, without key. Doesn't matter to them. They can just flow in and out of the melody. It's amazing. to me.
Agree.
Yeah.
I know.
So, Kim Hudson, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. I
Thank you
really
for having
appreciate
me.
Yeah, of course. And for our listeners, our new concert season will begin very soon. Please check our website, LubbockSymphony.org. If you'd like tickets, give us a call, 806-762-1688. Thank you again for listening to this episode of Clef Notes. I'm Galen Wixon, President and CEO of the Lubbock Symphony. It was great to have you. Goodbye.